What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Right Cycle Works. This is James here. Want to do a quick little video on the Amazon, I think it's a Nice Ones brand, KTM kickstand. There's not a lot on YouTube about it, so I figure I would do a quick little video and show you guys how this thing goes together, and kind of what I think about it so far. So the stock kickstand on my 500 EXC actually pulled the entire center bushing out and mushroomed it out to where there's no possible way for it to stay together anymore. It just keeps popping right back off, and the bike actually fell over in the driveway because of that. So ordered up a new kickstand. This one's from Amazon. I think it was 43 bucks or so with shipping. Comes in kind of a generic box and some packaging with a bunch of parts and no instructions. So wanted to show you guys how this goes together. So you have your center bushing. There's an O-ring here on the outside that was already on it, and then there's one that goes there on the inside. The camera will focus there, that comes in the packaging that you have to stick on there. So this bushing goes into the outside of the kickstand, and it kind of pushes in. That O-ring kind of keeps them back together. You can see fits in there nice. This little spacer, you see it's machined to a bevel in one way. That bevel goes in towards that, and our main kickstand bolt goes in, which is now an Allen bolt. See, it fits through. There's a post on the frame that will actually, this will slide over top of and go onto the frame and bolt on. Here's your spring that goes up onto a little tiny tab that's behind the subframe. This is your return spring. So this bracket right here goes on, the spacer sets on there first. Then your bracket goes on. You can see where the spring hooks to the bracket. And then it gets bolted on with this bolt right here. I'd highly recommend greasing and Loctiting everything up, and we'll go over the bike now. Okay, now we're going to move on to installing the kickstand on the bike. I've already coated my bushing and the inside of the other side of the bushing and kickstand and the mounting surface on the frame with some really nice Moly Coat 111 compound kind of waterproof grease. It's really awesome stuff. First thing we want to do is take our little tiny spacer bushing, not drop it like I just did, and we're going to take that. The big end goes down, just like that right there. I'm going to take that with our little spring bracket. You're going to take your little tiny Allen bolt that they give you and just kind of put everything together. I recommend Loctiting all this stuff. I've got some blue Loctite here I'm going to put on. Basically, the entire setup's going to go like that right there. So you can go ahead and run this down a little ways, but I wouldn't really go cranking on it Hercules style just yet, because you got to let it swing in order to get your spring down in it. So go ahead and tighten this bolt up. Not that tight, so it'll still swing freely. You're going to take your spring. You see the spring has one kind of fixed in, one end that moves back and forth. I want the end that moves back and forth to go up, and it's right up inside here. It's a little tiny nub that's made that braces the back of your subframe. Just loops around like that right there. Easy peasy. And then you're going to take your kickstand, fish that through the bracket. It's going to be a little bit of a pain, but you have to really pull down on your spring. Try to get this where you guys can see it. And get it started on the tab on the frame all in one motion. going to take our bolt, a long Allen bolt, start everything in there together. Wherever I set it at. There it is. That's set up right there. And tighten it up with some Loctite too. Apologize if you guys are having trouble seeing this. It's hard to do with one hand here. Okay. Go ahead and torque this bolt down. And we should be able to go ahead and tighten up our little Allen here. Get the right size Allen that fits it, actually. All right. And there it is all together. Overall, not too terrible. I did it all with just an Allen wrench and some tools I had laying around. Hardest part is definitely getting the spring started and pulling everything down to compress the spring and get it started on the post that's on the frame. But it's not bad. I was able to do it with one hand. Kind of overall impressions. This kickstand, it's the exact same length. The foot is the same size and feels made out of the kind of the same material as the stock stand. This does feel slightly heavier than the stock one, not really that much to make a difference. We'll see how the hardware holds up. Not really a fan of those Allen bolts, but we'll see how they do. You can see where the spring hooks on that nub that's made on the frame, in between the frame and the subframe. So I'll give you guys an update whenever we get back from our Brandywine trip and let you know how it does. Thanks for tuning in.